Hey everybody, welcome back to Disco Elysium. Well, we have to figure out what the heck is happening in this weird old sea fortress here. This is the way we came. This goes out to somewhere, and we know what's down here, the shoreline where that dream happened. Okay, we got some plus morale, not that we needed that. We got some more plus morale and some money. It's kind of weird that they give us money here. This great blast door must weigh over 10 tons. Rust peels off of it. You see a small metal door nested inside a larger one. A heavy steel blast door. There is a conventional keyhole above the handle. It's very small. What's on the other side? Another part of the island, probably. The lock looks like it could still be usable. And how do we open this? He looks at the door, then at its bigger brother, then at the lock. Maybe this is one of the doors we don't open. He's right. It would be better to open its big brother. A powerful engine hangs under the ceiling. It must control the blast door. You're right. We open the big one. Do you see controls anywhere? I find us not opening it highly unlikely. Sure, you're right. We don't have to open it. How do we open it? I think there's a console just southeast. Let's look around. Getting the blast door open seems like the best plan. Alright, well, let's do that. So let's run on our busted leg. I guess we'll probably have to put fuel in this thing. Careful, these stairs have collapsed. So stairs have collapsed. We are not doing that then. We go under. Green paint flakes off the monoblock aluminum cabinet. There are rows of switches on the front panel, a frequency band, and even a keyboard. What is this then? The lieutenant points the console of an antique computation device, the generator upstairs with wires coming out of it. They terminate here. Could this open the blast door? Possibly. He inspects the dials. Urgence ouverte, allumer radio diffuse. It sounds like this device was used to control electronics here. Maybe it still does. This device was used to control the electronics in the room. It could open doors, control lights, function as a radio computer. Push the button for lights. Nothing happened. Slide the radio dial. Dial slides under the glass silently. You make out defunct stations on the UKV frequency. The words "failed insular" are written on the band. An idea lights up in your head. Maybe we could contact Suna, the programmer lady. She could open the door for us remotely. The lieutenant inspects the indicator. This is an air gap system. Off air, I think they call it. That won't work. Sure? No, I'm not. But it would not be very good military technology if programmer ladies could open it remotely. Also, it's ancient. Incompatible. Press the button. Nothing happens. We need to restore power before using this, officer. The generator. It didn't look like there was fuel in it. Find fuel for the generator. He looks at the dim light to his right. We should look around outside. There are barrels all over. Maybe one of them still has it. The boat engine. Wait, what about this fuel I brought from my MC motor carriage? Well, we could get some from the boat engine. Found that we could go back to the mainland. What about the stuff I brought from my motor carriage? There's barely anything left. That won't work. Okay. Could we go back to the mainland and get some? From your Kanema? I don't want to do that. Let's just look around. Okay. Leave. This hatch is jammed shut. Water rushes below, far down below. So I thought we were being cool. We had that thing in our gas canister in our inventory. I was like, oh wait, sweet. Since we had that, we could bypass something. Well, turns out no. Programmers took that into account. A firing slit, you can't see inside. Took that into account and said, no, we still want you to find some fuel somewhere. Must have been a direct hit to take out such a huge chunk. Big blast. crater here. Hear some reeds rustling, perhaps. Anything towards the spit of land here? Nope. And over here was where we had our dream, but it doesn't look like there's anything to interact with over here. Well, there is. I lied. Another little chain. The winch is broken, rust has eaten what remains of the chain. The depot that supplied this chain is long gone from the coast. Alright, well, let's head up this way then. The pain in your pelvis makes you wince. Then you continue. Okay, I got it, game. No more running, I suppose. The inside of the fortress, you make out the console and the blast door. I mean, they're giving us this, like, haunting music. It's kind of, portends the end. A weathered artillery map showing coordinates of the Bay of Revachol. An old medicine cabinet newly stocked with Dramamine. So someone's been putting stuff in here. We'll take your Dramamine and your money. Now we're topped up pretty well on health. Mattress nest. There's a rain-soaked mattress on a concrete slab, only half covered by the crumbling roof. At the head of it, double embrasures, firing slits, like two eyes in the wall. B triple prime. The lieutenant lowers his voice, stepping closer with his hand on his gun. Looks like a good place to shoot from. Wish we had our gun. Still don't know what happened to it. Inspect the mattress. A single-person mattress, modern, civilian use, brand name Marjorie. There's a fuel stain on the cover, along with cigarette burns. And an empty can of beans on the ground next to it, filled to the brim with cigarette butts. Pick one out of the can? The silhouette of a tobacco picker adorns the paper filter, the brand Tio Muturi. Contemporary Revacholians prefer Drowan, a local blend from the Southern Islands, or Astra, the legendary cigarette from Grod. Tio Moturi is favored by older men for its paper filter tips, sweet smell, and added tar. Tio Menturi, like the ones we found at Land's End, remember? I may have been wrong when I said it was unimportant. This means the same person could have visited both locations. I didn't see any signs of smoking inside, though. If people live there, they keep it tidy. This here must have been a smoking spot. Inspect the wall. There's a firing slit on the wall in front of you, like a little window. Touch the concrete? Or look through... touch the concrete? Quite old and grimy from years without cleaning by anything other than rain. We'll look through the hole. Can we see the whirling? The springs screech as you lean onto the mattress and crane your neck to look out. A small piece of Martinez coast opens up in the square in front of you, like a tiny landscape painting 1 kilometer across the water. The ruins look familiar. Okay, here's our trajectories. On the left, a towering skyscraper, its top floor is shaved off by artillery fire. Capeside Apartments, Rue de Saint-Ghislain, 33A and 33B. And on the right, the red chimney and collapsed back of the 4-story tenement in front of the Whirling in Rags, Rue de Saint-Ghislain 10, the doomed commercial area. In between them, a box-shaped silhouette of the Whirling in Rags. You see a small fleck of white on the rooftop, the upstairs window of Clash's room in the rain, reflecting light. Motherfucker. There it is. I can't be 100% certain, but nope, there it is. Do you have line of sight to the window? More than that. Kim, with a pair of binoculars, I would be able to see inside the room. Yes, there's an opening between 33A and 10. I can see to the roof. No, I can see inside the room, Kim. A pair of binoculars or a scope of a rifle would be prone, laying on the mattress, barrel resting on the embrasure, cheek against the cheek rest, hand on the hair trigger, on a calm day like this. Kim, I can make it. I could make the shot. Level up. Good. I think we have it, Detective. The origin of the shot. This is the sniper nest. Affirmative. Finally. Better late than never. Why didn't we come here before? Why didn't we come here before? Why? We don't go everywhere in a 1,000-meter radius of the crime scene. That's not procedure. I guess you're right. Those 6 people are dead. He looks north over the fortification, then at the mattress. Could the shooter still be here? Where? In Martinez on the island, right here. Are we the shooter? That's a good question. But we can't be the shooter because he died before we showed up. So we can't be the shooter. Unless we've forgotten that we were the shooter. No, let's not even entertain that thought. Why would we shoot him? Unless he was the guy that took our wife? Was he like the love like the love interest of our ex-wife? But we have no way of knowing that. On the island. He does not answer, just nods. With his back hunched, he looks around once more and says, "We should move now." Yes, let's go. Let's take the fuel and go. Alright, game, I don't care. I'm running on my bum leg. Better than just waiting around. Alright, let's put some fuel in this machine and get it started up. Pour fuel into the tank. Lieutenant assists you, holding the canister up to the fuel tank as you tilt. Brown, dark, viscous fluid pours out, and the room fills with a chemical smell. There's a red starter switch on the side of the cylinder and a start rope on the other side. The lieutenant flicks the switch, and we pull the rope. The recoil start wakes the old generator up. The machine sputters like an old war horse before settling down to a rattle. That should do it. Alright, so then we start the blast doors. A dim golden glow animates the console, faint like a ghost light. It's on. Turn emergency open. Let's open the door. The blast door opens with a series of clicks. A shaft of light appears, then widens as the light shines in. Alright, let's hack up a door. How many times is it going to open? After you, the lieutenant says. What's there? I don't know. A thin wisp of smoke rises from a charred black fire pit. The wind picks up, then dies down again. What if we get into another fight? Don't worry. Takes out his sidearm, checks the barrel, then holsters it. I have a gun. Harry, this reminds you. You're out of bullets. My gun is out of bullets, by the way. Then it's extra good that mine is not. Can't share some bullets with me, my friend? Because I would really appreciate that if you could, you know, give me some bullets. And outside we go. Climb up around to the left. Up top where we couldn't reach before. There we are. What do we see? Anything? Something I can interact with up here. Anything to the left? No, I can't reach there. Zoom far out so I get a good idea of whatever I might be walking into. Small white flowers blossom all around you. Oh, the Maybells. A rubber dinghy. It's deflated and broken. So someone rafted here? Or it's long left over from centuries ago. Hey, there's a person there. A person with a gun. Renee? Is that you? Are you not dead? The air smells sweet and scary somehow. No, you don't look like Renee. I don't think. Sir? The deserter. An old man wearing tracksuit trousers leans on the frame of stock of his rifle. He gathers a big ball of spit in his mouth, then spits it right into the extinguished fire before him. He raises his black eyes, hooded by creased eyelids, to meet yours. Unclouded by cataracts, his eyesight is sharp. Are you the fire guy? You've retained your eyesight. Did you close the blast door? Maybe that was the rumbling we heard. I thought it was cracking of the ice. It could have been closing of the door. Nice gun you've got there. Sir, I need you to put that gun down so we can talk further. We're with the police. I'm with the police. You could keep the gun, but keep it down. Not one move. Are you the fire guy?
What now? I can't hear you.
Did you recently tell two kids to put out their fire? Two twins?
I may have. All sorts of little rats have come sniffing around trying to give up the position.
The position sounds like a hiding place. Do you think the war is still going on? Have you been here for 40 years believing the war is still happening?
Fire guy, regressive bourgeoisie henchman, can't even talk like a grown-up.
You retained your eyesight.
My eyesight, yes, helps me see all this shit.
Did you close the door?
I did. And you opened it. How?
I fueled the generator, then used the console.
I should have burned that console down.
How'd you know I was coming?
The boat engine on the water.
Yeah, I guess it wasn't exactly very, sneaky. Nice gun you got there, sir.
It's not nice. It's a piece of shit. Gets the job done.
Is that a Belle McGraw?
It's a Dragon 446.
Okay, so it matches the caliber of the killing bullet. Southeast Samoan made, exotic. Must be defunct too. No modern rifle manufacturer of that name springs to mind.
A Samoan rifle? How did you get hold of one?
It was sent to us by our brothers in the Xinjiang commune. Military aid.
Sent by our brothers in the Xinjiang commune. So you're a communist. That stayed true to him. He can make it sing. The Xinjiang commune?
You heard me. It's good now. Like chalk wiped from a board.
I need you to put that gun down so we can talk further. Or you can keep the gun, but keep it down. He's not going to give up his gun. There's no way. So just don't level it at me, sir. Not one move.
No.
The lieutenant aims his pistol square at the man's head and says,
Put it down now.
"Put
sir.
it down."
Or you're going to blow my brains out before you question me. To hell with it. It's a walking stick anyway. It's out of bullets.
And he puts it down. Okay. Like an amputated limb in the sand. Just lying there. He stares on, his wrinkled mouth moving from without a sound. A strange sadness. Like a song. What did you say? It's out of bullets? And it's a walking stick?
The future teaches you to be alone.
The present... So we know what he's talking about? We know this saying, the future teaches you to be alone, and the present...
The present, be afraid and cold.
The present to be afraid and cold. So the future teaches you to be alone, and the present teaches you to be afraid and cold. The old man pulls back the hood of his plastic cape and looks into the sea. It's blue color, or it's blue-gray, the same color as the sea. Those words, the future teaches you. Real music. It's la Revacholier, you shit-licking bougie dog. Chanson des soldats of the black and whites. I'm not a shit-looking bougie dog. I'm a half-dead police officer who's just doing his job. What is La Revacholier? Nah, I'm just a half-dead police officer here, sir. The job of a bougie dog. And what is La Revacholier? The anthem of the world revolution. One of 3. In Grad, they sang Brave Children, favorites of history. And in Xinyao, it was... He struggles to remember, then gives up. Some Samaran shit, I guess. How does it go, the song? How did it go? He looks at the gun on the ground and shakes his head slowly. Something about shooting rabbits. I don't know. I can't remember. It doesn't matter. It's gone now. He waves erratically with his hand, annoyed that he can't remember. A little tremor passes through him. Let's just pick up the gun then. His gaze follows your motion. The rifle feels surprisingly light in your hand. Frame stocked and patched in places with tape and wire. Inspect it closer. The rifle's in shabby shape, like a crutch that's seen too much travel. Hieroglyphs are embossed onto the forearm, made of walnut. On the butt you see Vespertine writing, burnt into the wood. Triangong 4.46mm, made in Xinyao. It's as he said. It's a Xinyao. No one said it has to be a Bel Magrav. We were just guessing. From ballistics, it could have easily been a Triangong too. It doesn't matter if it was made in Shanti. All it has to do is use jacketed ammunition. And it does. It does. 4.46. The right type and the right caliber. Let's just put the gun away. The old man keeps following your motions with his gaze. His left arm twitches suddenly. Oh, he's going to attack us? Some kind of involuntary response. Something is slightly off with his motorics. Oh, he has some kind of disease, like a Parkinson's? Some kind of shaky disease? This looks very much like the murder weapon. It can be used against him to get a confession in time. Who are you, sir? My name is Yosef Lilyanovich. Yosef Lilyanovich Drus, political commissar of the 114th Anti-Aircraft Division of the 4th Army of the Commune of Revachol. I am a deserter, a partisan, and a prisoner of war. This is my termless surrender. Commune of Revachol? Do you mean the ICM? You're a holdover from the Insulidian Citizens Militia, the Army of the Revolution. I was recruited in Jamrock in 07, trained in the École de Contrôle Aérien, and consigned to the emergency defense duties in 08. So you've been here for like 45 years? 44 years? Left my unit in the eve of the landing. When I returned here on May 14th, the commune had fallen. Still armed and ideologically trained, I wrote a criticism of myself and resumed partisan duties. 51 minus 8, 43. You've been on this island for 43 years? No. He looks into the fire. A wisp of smoke rises from somewhere between the charred logs. I've been on other islands too. I was on Resurrection until they turned it into a spa at 18. Then I was on an E-48, a nameless sound, until the sea washed over it. Then I came back here. That was 22 years ago. Again, you've been hiding here for 43 years? You said you deserted your unit. What is this place, this island? How have you survived all this time? How have you concealed yourself all these years? You said this is your termless surrender. So you're a communist soldier from the communist army? You said you deserted, sir? I was 16 years old, 15 when I volunteered. I had a lapse of faith, and of courage too. Understood. Well done, I won't explain it to a minion of capital. What is this island? It's not an island. It's a defensive fortification on the commune of Revachol, and I'm its last surviving defender. What was it used for? The congenitally deformed King Philippe II built it to restrict access to the Bay of Revachol. We captured it in 02, retrofitted the fort with an AA gun to defend against the airborne landings, against the whole world. You mean the landing? The retaking Revachol? Coalition militia called it Operation Deathblow. I later found out on the radio. They called it Deathblow. You're one of them. Tell me, who speaks like that? We had 50 million people on Caillou alone. First off, I'm not one of them. Coalition military. Who speaks like that? Coalition military? Someone who comes to end this madness? Murderers, I know what you mean. Tell me something else. I mean, 50 million people who speaks like that. I know. Sucks. War sucks. Civilian casualties suck. Murderers, that's who. You don't know. You haven't seen it. Iblis. Iblis? The black-eyed angel. Alright, how have you survived all this time? How does anyone survive? I steal. What do you steal? Supplies, vegetables. I collect rainwater. It's the life of a dog, not a human being. He coughs once more, then puts his hand on his belly. How is your health, Mr. Dross? I've been throwing up blood since winter. Red, like beetroot. Been passing it in stool, too. That's not good. He does seem frail, gaunt for his age. More like 75 than 65. Trouble putting on weight. Could mean cancer. The RCM can provide medical services. You need to be looked over. I need to die. You don't have any medical facilities. You have guns. That's all they give you. Toy guns. We have Dramamine and other opioid-based painkillers. You must be in pain. This is a serious situation. You need to be looked over. How have you coped mentally? I mean, we have pills here, sir. A light goes on in his eyes. He smacks his dry lips. I have been running out of that stuff. Well, I stole yours, so here you go. There's no way he can manage the pain without them. It's safe to say he is addicted to painkillers by now. You like that Dramamine, don't you? It's the little joys. A dark joy. A sunshiny day. Morphine. You need to be looked over and we can help. There's nothing to look over. The triage is in and it's black. Administer morphine. Moribund. How have you coped mentally, sir? I haven't. I have holes in my brain. Years missing. Others filled with pain only. A decade of, I don't even know what. Inferno? I also live in hell. I also have holes in my brain. You notice the lieutenant is about to say something. No. Like, I also live in hell, sir. At least you know it. The traitors of this city turned the lights back on in the 30s after the fighting stopped. Ruins glittering in the dark like a fucking merry-go-round. It's disgusting. He looks down at his shoes, his face parched from the sun and the wind. There's a wince of pain in there somewhere. How have you concealed yourself all these years? It was hard in the 10s. I didn't have partisan training. They were searching for stragglers, those bloodhounds, floodlights on the water at night. There were posters, campaigns. We communards still hoped that they needed to snuff the hope out. The East capitulated. Martinez and Coal City were turned to dust. But Jamrock, Fellberg, even Coron, and Boogie Street, of course. Those fucking kips had Mazov coursing through their veins. And others, too. Some cordons of Revachol were still fighting. There were cells. I tried to contact them. Soon they all went silent. The frequency's dead. How did you get between here and the mainland? At night, I used a dinghy. Oh, the little, deflated raft. I only went after dark then. Then I got to the city. When I got to the city, I stayed underground. Patrols. You lot. The commons, too. They started snitching. In the city, you move underground? From bunker to bunker. Not anymore. No one cares now. I don't even have to hide. They think I'm another antisocial vagrant. I could walk straight into that town if I wanted. I just... He falls silent, his gaze fixed on the shacks huddled together across the water. Why don't you walk there? I don't want to. They're all traitors, pigs, rabbits, and dogs. Men without ideals, or only animals. The weapons cache under St. Lane 22B. In the basement. Have you been there? He looks at you, then pulls the raincoat tight around his neck. So you finally found it. There must have been a small squadron worth of arms there. Bell McGraw's. They were, or they were damaged beyond use. Let's not disparage his guns. They were there. Useless now. Rusted away. So you've been there. Sleeping. Some nights. Ammo scrounging on others. Those McGraw's were shit even before they corroded. Some had bullets in the chamber, however. You feel the dots connecting. Little dots on the map he's walked across. And there's a small bunker under the Feld building. Have you stayed there? The little communist bunker? The propaganda bunker? I used to, but not anymore. Propaganda bunker? They stored leaflets there, broadcasting equipment too. Made broadcast, I think. Propaganda officers. I buried them with their leaflets. They killed themselves. 2 young boys. They killed themselves. A lot of our boys did. I spent some winters there. Never liked it. Kept thinking of them. No need to go underground anymore. It's better in the ruins, on the ground. Do you smoke these Tumotiri cigarettes? I do. Ever smoke them on the mainland? They're good. Plenty of tar. I like that boy on the pack too. Reminds me of last century. Alright, so we're kind of piecing together his movements. Tell me one other thing. I mean, we could say you've been hiding here for 43 years, but he hasn't been hiding here. I don't want to get, in that spiral of semantics. You said this is your termless surrender. Here with the RCM, the coalition-approved mob that enforces bourgeois morals on Revachol. We're not coalition-appointed, we just try to help people. That's right, we're the good guys. We enforce the law, we keep these animals from killing each other. I know what it looks like, but I have secret plans to turn the RCM into a Mazovian revolutionary unit. We're with the RCM, let's leave it at that. We just try to help people, sir. He stares at you coldly. You're the RCM. You represent the Moralist International, the enemies of humanity. Who took this city? I represent their adversary, Le Parti Communiste d'Islande. Take me to them as a prisoner of war. I have relinquished my weapon. I can no longer serve. No superiors can relieve me of my duty. You bulldoze them all into a mass grave for trying to free humanity. His hand shakes and he breaks into a coughing fit. A spray of blood from his mouth on the black charcoal in the fire pit. Rene, the royalist on the coast, said, "The communards signed the Revacholian Instrument of Surrender." Liberal reactionaries signed the instrument. Traitors, who should have been burned alive. I answer to the Communist Party. Is that part of why you haven't been here why you've been here all of the time? Because the party didn't surrender? He just wipes the blood from his chin. I mean, it's pretty honorable, dude. I mean, I respect you for keeping your ideals. We may not agree with your ideals, but I respect you for remaining true to them, at least. Honor is a feudal atavism. My motive is class. Okay, so you're a communist soldier from the communist army. No, I'm not a soldier. I am an ideological officer. I belong to the party, not the army. You said you were trained and assigned to the defense corps. Trained in historical materialism, then assigned as a political commissar by the party. These things used to mean something. It means you're a trained communist, right? Or what does a political commissar do? You're a trained communist, right? He nods slowly, then another tremor. I'm a moralist. No, let's not say that. I'm not really into politics myself. Let's just not say anything. Let's not get into a conversation about politics here. He looks away to the sea and lets out a cough. Oh, we have to say it. We have to say you've been hiding here for 43 years. 43 years and 10 months. That's insane. That's steadfast. I don't even know what that is. That's pretty steadfast, sir. It's not how a human being should live, but I had to. I just couldn't forget. I couldn't forget what I saw. What have you been doing during all this time? Hiding, fishing, waiting. He looks across the water, where the afternoon grows late. On Rue de Saint-Ghislain, people walk home. Streetlights will soon be lit. Further inland, the streets are alive with workers, men, women, children, street hawks and migrant laborers. The temperature is steady. Alto cumulus clouds form above Precinct 41. Always waiting. What are you waiting for, sir? For her to return. For Dolores? Her who? Girl Child Revolution. Not Dolores, because Dolores would have been the leader of the moral intern, so you would dislike Dolores. You like revolution as... You're waiting for revolution as, like, embodied, personified as a girl? I come from there. I can assure you that is not what the people are planning. I've been there. The city's a tinderbox. It may still happen. I've seen it. Capital is too powerful. The rich are very well organized. Or women will always betray you. No, I mean, the city's a tinderbox. Could still happen. It won't. The base material, or the material base for an uprising, has eroded. The working class has betrayed mankind and themselves. The historic opportunity for revolution has passed. It will not come back anymore, however hard I try, whatever I do. I have another question for you, sir. What have you been using this gun for? I've used it for killing people. Killing people? It's a gun. It's what they're for. You want a moralist euphemism? Defending your family and your property? I haven't done that. I used it to kill people. Interesting. During or after the war? There is no after the war. Class war is never over. So he's continued killing after hostilities ended. Okay, okay. This is it. You can feel it like battery acid on the tip of your tongue. Something you haven't felt for a while. But what? But what? This is what you live for. This is the shit. The great serotonin jackpot. The solution. Go in straight. No euphemism. He doesn't like those. No, no. Be careful now. Slow and steady does it. Make him repeat it first. So you're saying you killed people after active fighting stopped? Did you use that gun to shoot and kill a colonel of the security contractor? I know you want to tell me. Have you killed anyone with that gun in the last week or so? Wait, so which one do I say then? Have you killed anyone in the last week or two with this gun, sir? I don't want to tell you anything, you grotesque murderer. Okay. So you're saying you killed people after active fighting stopped? What did I just say? He keeps shaking his head erratically. Suddenly, he brushes something out of his eye. What did I just tell you? Don't drop the ball now. Did you use that gun to shoot and kill a colonel of the security contractor Cornell? The who now? He heard you. He just wants to hear you say it again. This is dramatic. Flare on the spot. Right choice. We're in. Do it, sire. The corpse in ceramic armor, hanging behind the whirling rags. Did you shoot him? The fascist death squad who took a bullet in the mouth at the end of March 4th. His name was Elias Courtinier. He was a part of the security detail here at Martinez. A beautiful, strong man sent here by the Honorable Private Military Company. The fascist death squad. I don't know anything about their politics, honestly. The corpse in the ceramic armor. Did you shoot him? Oh yes, that one. Ugly piece of work, that boy. Did you kill him? I'm a son of a welder and an officer of the Commune of Revachol. I do not collaborate with murderers and pederasts of the liberal regime. A drop of blood in his saliva. Exhausted with proof, pile it all on, get a confession. The gun, the murder weapon, is the perfect opener. The scent of blood in the air, but what else? There was something you can't remember. Something about the tracks? Suddenly all those tracks are so confusing. Go with something first. Something else first. I don't need your cooperation, I've got this. We've done the ballistics, the shot come from this island. Come on, what am I forgetting? Tell this yourself. Hit yourself on the side of the head. Wait, here it comes. The goddamn Maybells. The dried Maybells on Clash's roof. Oh yes. There were Maybells in the grass when you got here. The revolutionary symbols from the war. Nowhere else in all of Martinez have you seen them this spring. Wait, don't forget the footprints. The diagonal prints in the dust. In the secret space behind Clash's bedroom. Now they're gonna come up. Of course, thank you, Head. Thank you. You got it? Remember, the boot prints were like no modern soul. I wonder what brand of boots you're wearing, sir. Everything is brands with you individuals. Who cares what brand my shoes are? Sansa. Some shit. Show me the soles, please, Mr. Dross. Fucking imbecile. The old man stretches out his leg. A black and white spiral pattern covers the sole of the worn-out old running shoes on his feet. The maker is Sansaric. The model is Corbiel. And the size is 43. These are not the unusual horizontal pattern shoes you saw in the dust on the floor in the hidden room. They do, however, seem to be about the same size. Were you wearing a different pair of shoes? The size fits, but not the sole. The lieutenant comes to the same conclusion. Well, we got a high drama score, so... well, it's an easy score. We have a decent drama and an easy score. Or easy goal. Wait, maybe it's simpler than that. Sire, he doesn't have to be wearing them right now. People change shoes. It doesn't mean you weren't there near the room the victim died in, sneaking around. Racking those brains, are you? Desperate to report something back to your masters. They must have really loved that dead fuck. Lieutenant gives you a quick sideways glance and nods to acknowledge. The prints were his. You can see it in those eyes. He can't keep them from flickering, looking for something. The old man stares at his own prints in the ash around the fire. Silent suddenly. Some strange process within him. A gush of wind. Seagulls in the distance. There were Maybells behind the victim's window. Damn Maybells. The whole island is turning white with them. So many this year, too. The spring is coming. No, it's already here. Wash the filth away. What are you talking about, sir? I haven't seen these flowers anywhere else in Martinaise, only here. They blossom on the islets before. We fertilized them with our blood. Resurrection was snow white in May before they ruined it. South the Bay of Martinaise is docked with little freckles of islets turning green with white flowers and white snow. The coast, too, before they piled their containers on top of it, filled with broken, useless trash for fat-fingered bourgeois children to play with. Okay, so you don't like the harbor. I gotcha. You must get around a lot to stay undetected all these years. Do you know any secret paths? Pinball workshops? I may. A curious tremor passes his face. A young woman named Klasha. Ring any bells? These dried flowers were behind her window. Klasha. He knows her, but hasn't heard her name. Yes, Klasha. You haven't heard the name, have you? You know her, right? She had intimate relations with the victim, the mercenary. With the victim. He turns his sight from the widening field of flowers and falls silent. Then the muscles of his jaw twitch. A spasm. There's a small tremble. Looks like a smile. A crooked smile. Yet it isn't voluntary. He's about to burst. We've done the ballistics. The shot came from this island. I saw you poking around there, looking for evidence. You're damn diligent when it comes to dead fascists. A jitter passes him. Did you like the view? You had direct visibility. There are embrasures in the concrete, specifically meant for a top faller to use. You had a long-range rifle in your position. You've been here a long time, Mr. Drost. Too long. You clearly need medical aid. I'm ready to die. I've done my part. He's practically admitting to it. Dead fascist. For fascist. He's done his part. You're admitting you killed him. It's the best uninterrupted line of sight into the window. The view was perfect with a pair of binoculars I could have seen in the room. You're admitting to killing him? You're sad for your Fascia brothers, aren't you? One twig got broken, now the others are sad. He waves his hand. There's a twitch, then one more in his right eye. Leave no stone unturned. Just get him on what matters most. I've got the gun. We don't need your cooperation. Heh. Got a lot of guns around here that use military-grade ammunition. It's a real gun. He points to the lieutenant's holster. Not like your little musketeer pistols. I've seen you prance around with those, jumping hoops for the liberals. You look like imbeciles. Why don't you just ask them to give you a real weapon? Going against automatic rifles with these toy guns, of course you got those boys killed. Damn, he saw you. He watched it happen. He would have had a good view of the tribunal from here. He's not just empty boasting. We saved a lot of them. Their leader Titus. We handled the situation. Well, we damaged our morale. You didn't handle anything. I watched it happen. You let those murderers rip right into them. Most of them got killed, even the fat one. None of those people mean anything to you. The vultures feed on this city and you prepare a meal for them. You're only getting diverted. Push the gun. Only the gun matters. So you watched the fight. Did you like what you saw? The mayhem? It was all you're doing. Your plan. You got them killed. I don't know anything. A twitch runs from the left side of his face as he stares the lieutenant down. Stop changing the subject. We have the murder weapon. You know what? You're right. I'm convinced this made the shot. Should we call it in? Dramatically ask. You think we have the murder weapon? I'm calling it. We have the murder weapon. Good. The lieutenant takes out his notebook and draws a single line. This feels good, doesn't it? Tying things up like this. When you have the murder weapon, you have the killer. Murder. The old man does not say anything more. He just glances into the reeds and then twitches once more. He suddenly jerks to life. You know who was a coalition-trained... You know who he was? A coalition-trained murderer. Armored and armed. He wasn't a human. The blunt end of his hammer. He was the blunt end of a hammer, dripping with blood. He was a rapist. I'm not saying he didn't deserve it. He was a killer, but he was still under the protection of the law. He was a soldier too. He was a man. We don't know what he did. We don't have his background. And you can't just go around, judiciously killing people. I mean, there has to be a process. The process, to find out the truth. You can't just go shooting people, sir. He might have been a killer, but he was still under protection of law. Beating us to the ground, moaning with joy. He breathes in a strange animation. Within a strange animation. You hounds get so thorough when a company-trained killer dies. I haven't seen you on this coast for 40 years, Maybe I should have killed one sooner. Got your attention. Now you stop beating druggies and prostitutes in your basement. Now you come to the investigation. Not when they die by the hundreds. This is it. Shot him, say shot him, not killed him. So you shot him. Oh, the inhumanity. One paramilitary less in Revachol. You can see him squeeze a tear out of his eye. His fists begin to tremble from the anger. The lieutenant raises his right arm to hush you. While the lieutenant listens, holding his breath. Well, the lieutenant wants to hush me. I'll hush. Let's just hold our breath. I had them in my sights. Both of them. Him and the whore. I was breathing with them in phase, and I pulled the trigger and flew on the air until I landed in his mouth. I didn't think I had a shot like that in me anymore. I did. I saw him kneel there with his mouth full of death and that stupid look on his face and his dick still in her. And then what? Nothing. I went to sleep. Next morning there were Maybells everywhere. The world was white, or what's left of it anyway. My last spring here. I knew the fascists would come to avenge their own, and so they did. The lieutenant just looks at him for a moment, maybe two, and then breaks the silence. Mr. Drost, are you aware that you're confessing to murder? Level up. Extract the confession of a deserter. Yes. A single word is all he gives. The lieutenant takes out his notebook slowly, very slowly. And you were looking at them, the victim and a young woman having sex, through the scope of your rifle that night before you shot him? He nods. Why? Because that's what they were doing. So, you shot it's like, why do we climb a mountain? Because it's there. Like, why do you shoot a guy as he's having sex with his maybe girlfriend? Because we had to shoot him, and that's what he was doing at the time? The motive. This is where the motive is coming from. I don't understand. Do you, detective? I don't understand this part. Why were you looking at them that night? I'm always looking. He cocks his head to the side, then turns his eyes to the city. Another tremor passes his left side, lower in intensity. Are you always looking through the scope of a rifle? I'm just trying to understand. A rifle scope has the best magnification. And if you didn't like it, click. You pull the trigger. So if you see something you don't like, you pull the trigger. Yes, think of it as a form of critique. He will not stop now. These dialectical materialist types never do. Exploit it. What specifically did you not like about what you saw the night of the murder? Them fucking. I didn't like it. So you were jealous then. Jealousy is a reactionary concept. I didn't like the Reaver enjoying himself, drugged out, soothed in the arms of a young woman. I wanted him to die so he could not enjoy life anymore. I wanted her to see his head explode. That too. She should have known better than to hold a child murderer between her thighs. I knew he'd be there for one more second, writhing. That's all it takes for the bullet to reach his head. Now that I think of it, I wasn't aiming for his mouth. I wanted his brains to spill out on her, but you can't have everything. How long have you been watching her? Since she came to Martinaise. I saw her sneaking in the reeds early in the morning behind the Feld building. It was dark, still winter. She didn't have her skimpy outfit on then, just a spot in the night, moving. Past the Feld building on the coast. What was she doing there? Hiding something in the water. She had a fag after she'd done it. I was up in the ruins there. She couldn't see me. But I could see her smoking. She was nervous, not scared. What do you think she hid there? Her passport and tickets to Villers, and from there to Kasherbrunn. Oh, so you went back and got it later then, huh? In the free state of Semenine, hidden away at the edge of the earth, near the Pale. Some kind of hidden container on the coast? You looked into it? Yes, after she'd gone. It was a submersible. Well made, actually. Sloppy. We should have gotten her to tell us about this. Did you take the documents? No, I put them back. Why would I take them? I'm not going to Fawn. Or I mean... Moving on, did you continue watching her after this? I did. She had a face like an archipelago, with those birthmarks, and a body hard and lean and bruised all over, black and yellow. I could see she's taken a beating. I could see who she was too, a spook, on the run. Revachol is the cloaca of capital now. All the bagmen and arm dealers end up here to do drugs and have sex like animals. You could tell she was a spook from the documents. She had different color hair on the photo, and glasses, forged. Some sordid bourgeois affair. I've heard about this kind of thing on the radio. He's setting it up for you. The bruises. You can't make that out in a scope. And you can see her bruises through the scope of a rifle? You can't see bruises on a scope. It's just a blur. How does he know the minute details about her? Footprints in the dust. Could have changed shoes. Found the people. So we know you were in the whirling, sir. It quickly comes to you. The bruises on her body. Any chance you've seen them through a hole in the wall? Oh yes. Cutting those drugs of hers like into little lines with a knife. Masturbating. Did you make that hole? With a clip point knife. Good for listening in too. For hearing the moaning and the snorts. Ever seen her through a window? On a roof? Like that too? Yes. Bending like a bow against the glass. You've been through the secret route behind the whirling in rags. Those were your footprints there. You just changed your shoes. I've been through all of Martinaise, every nook and cranny. Yeah, that too. Yes, that too. The things they did in that little room. What she'd do to feel good. Funny the way light works. You turn it on inside and it gets so dark out you can't see a man looking in. I learned that in the 20s when they were still hunting me. I've seen people do some shit, but those two took the cake. You hear the familiar scribble of the lieutenant's pen, a quick glance at you, and then at the man. How did you get in there? The hidden pinball workshop. I can just walk in there now after a good wash. I told you they think I'm an antisocial. Closing hour is a good time. The kitchen's empty. You had to open the steel door in the kitchen. How'd you do it? I got that open a long time ago. Some bourgeois game merchant lived there. I don't know, 15 years ago. He left spare keys all over, and I took one. Then I saw her turn the light on one night in my scope. And he found a use for it, a spare key, like the one hanging behind the union box window. Did you have feelings for that woman, sir? There's nothing to hold on to, only this. It's not enough. Okay, that doesn't answer my question. The coals of his eyes glisten suddenly, like stones dripping with water. Is he crying? Man needs to feel something else. In this fight, it helps if you have your eye on something else. It's weakness. I know. There have been others? Or was that why you left the dried flowers behind? No. Why then? I don't know. I was there one night and she was crying like a child in the corner of her room, on the floor, like she does sometimes. When was this? The day after I killed him. And you brought her Maybells? Yes. I don't know why I do the things I do anymore. You wanted to console her? You wanted to manipulate her? I mean, if she was crying, you could have been wanting to manipulate her into revolution, but you've already said it's not going to happen, so you wanted to console her then? Maybe. I told you, I have holes in my brain now. I couldn't just sit here waiting for you. If you came 10 years ago, I would have killed you. In the silence, the lieutenant draws a line in his notes, then nods at you once more. So in conclusion, it wasn't about him. It was about her. Her. He repeats, staring at the ashes, then the reeds. There's a twitch in the corner of his eye. The lieutenant nods at you in acknowledgement. The old man looks at you, suddenly remembers something. Where is she? That Klasya. I haven't seen her for days. She got away. We don't know where she is. She got away, but she led us here first. She figured out someone was watching her from the seaport. We arrested her, or I'm not at liberty to say. Nope. She got away, but she led us to you. Gone. I knew it. She kept staring into the scope this last week, at the island, like she knew. She'd look at night, crying, or smoking on the roof, staring right into me. It doesn't matter. Midtown, across the bay of Revachol, snow falls on 40-story towers. Above them, Lausanne's central aerodrome, a cocoon suspended in the snowy sky of a web of suspension wiring, encircled by a hybrid aircraft. We're going to watch her take off, I guess, and leave the area. On the platform, a young woman is withdrawing from amphetamines, barbiturates, and alcohol, yet she still smiles among the crowd, among the great ghosts of the city she's leaving, for another, far south. Smaller, distant, hidden, not like the great chandelier she sees sparkle in the spring air below her. Streets and towers, tenements and water. Across it, a dark strip of ruins, barely visible. If she didn't squint her eyes. She knew. He knew she knows. She was looking at the island, figuring it out day by day, cigarette by cigarette. We could get more. We've got him talking. Who knows what he's seen and done over the years. Been looking at anything else you haven't liked? A tragic comedy, druggies, prostitutes, and rentiers. A strange little engine seems to fire up in him again. It straightens his back. The familiar put of hatred. More specifically? Yeah, wait, we have more serious things. No, more specifically? Specifically, the whole city is a charnel house, stripped clean and draped in neon. But Martinez is the worst. How come? Because of the racists. Everyone is a racist in Martinez. It's their favorite thing to do in the whole world. Listening to race-themed radio shows, in their ruins, in their lorries. Pumped full of steroids and Radio Revachol 92. Race this, race that. It's all sanctioned by the Social Democratic Union, and a farce of a social democrat who runs it. Mr. Clare? Yes, the fly larva in the container. He let some nihilistic advertising yuppies erect a statue of Felipe III, a syphilitic murderer on the town square, to spit on the working class. Let him finish, don't interrupt. Not since the serfs of ancient Peloponnesus has history produced a more inert social class than the Martinez proletariat. The rest of Revachol at least pretends to rebuild. These people still live in ruins. Like, in tents, like animals. He points to the church. Like those boom, boom, boom morons on the ice. A pity they didn't drown in that tent of theirs. He keeps shaking his head. Is that all? The worst of them is the blood-drenched Sucreant in her yacht, licking her lips. The old whore's gone now. Her gun-toting porcelain men are dead, so actually no. The worst is that old cock parading around in his uniform, throwing balls all day. It's not enough that the racists and liberals are dancing on our graves. The old loyalist ghouls still parade the ruins too. Every morning he's there, while the parasites he fought to protect are off in Ozone, or Corrientes Moraine, or some other island they've built their palaces on, feeding on drugs and having sex with their own children. Let's not say anything. That's all the rich really want, sex with their own children. Throughout history, even the royal bloodlines and the suzerain. It's just all an excuse for them to have sordid sex. At least that old cunt Frizzell is now dead. Who's Frizzell? Yeah, let's just nod. Let's not. We did good when we pushed him under that horse car. If only in the 30s. Those disco whores. What follows is ominous mumbling. You can't make out a single word. The disco whores are too much. Hatred shuts down his brain language center, leaving only a nonsensical sputter. There was something about a statue and nihilistic advertising agency people. Might be worth investigating. Disco whores? Whores, is all he says. Even the word has to be pushed through his teeth with great force. The rage seethes too hard. There's something about a statue on the roundabout and syphilis? Syphilis is a disease Felipe II contracted in a whorehouse. The statue is an abomination. I thought you said it was Felipe III up here. Was that a typo? Abomination, huh? Bacteria entered his brain and made him squander trillions on sparkling wine, cocainium, and the monuments to himself. His son Felipe III, the insane, contracted syphilis in the womb. That is technically possible, though Philippe III was not actually syphilitic, he was just mad. And he still went on to govern Revachol for 25 years. We lost 2 million lives toppling that mode of government, and those grotesque statues too, hundreds of them, but it's still there. What a keen remark. Yes, it is, isn't it? It's still there. Do you know why? Because you forgot to take it down? Because the king is holy and the statues are indestructible? because the king is holy and his statue is indestructible, but mean it unironically, or mean it ironically, because cynical advertising yuppies erected a deconstructed version of it? That's right. Some advertising cockroaches erected a cynical deconstruction of it. We tore it down with honest working class plastic explosives, and there it is again. Art is a bourgeois establishment. It's an affront to humanity. Every gallery should be bulldozed, and the artists should all be given 30 years of hard labor in Yakokata. Wait, the bullet hole in Felipe's heart. The statue's been shot. That was him. It had to be. He'd already proven capable of taking a far more complicated shot from here. It was you. You shot the statue. There was a bullet hole in the heart. I did. A needless sentimental gesture. I should have spared the bullet for a deformed monster of liberal capitalism. Shameful, really. Yes, shameful. So many others to punish over the years. Isn't that right, detective? That's all for the statue. Tell me, Mr. Dross. The fat union man let them put it there. Corrupt as he is. Probably got a fat check for it, too. Shared it with the law. He keeps having opinions about the union's leadership. You mentioned the union is social democratic, and Mr. Clare is a farce of a social democrat? Another hideous disappointment. Unions are the real enemy, the true enemy of the proletariat, placating the masses. Disappointment, so personal. He displays a familiarity with the union's top brass. Who's a disappointment? Everett Clare? That deformed toad? I wouldn't expect him to wipe his own ass. I mean the brains of the operation, the smart one. Edgar. You mean Edgar, Everett's brother. The old man chortles with a nod. He talks a big game about uprising and a social base. They must have sent the smart one to some university in Les Jardins where it's alienation this, and hegemony this. You've talked to Edgar? First against the wall with him. Oh. So, you guys were war buddies? Stop poking the ash now. Just shakes his head. Maybe not. The Clares wouldn't miss a man hidden in their own backyard. Not all this time. Nothing happens in Martinez without them knowing. Until they know you're here. Of course. Maybe the Clares asked him. Have you approached them? I haven't approached anyone. I've hid. It was Edgar who came to me. How did he know you were here? He didn't just stumble in like an oaf. He nods to you, like we did. He figured it out. Some kids told him about a monster on the island. I told you, he has brains. Stepped right off the boat and walked down where you came. I even kept the door open for him. Thought he was a man of the left. Wouldn't rat me out. I was right about one of those things. When was this? 20 years ago. Neither of them could walk now, could they? They were less fat then. It's around the time the Clares came to power. What did you talk about, sir? Edgar did the talking. Paid his respects, like I were a fossil in a uniform. Offered platitudes about the struggle. Flaunted his pink degree. Even quoted Mazov. Never trust a social democrat who quotes Mazov. Oh, and charity, too. They love their charity. Offered me blankets and social housing. I still have the gas cooker he bought. And he let you be here? Let me be here? The SAR is an unlawful successor of the Commune of Revachol. We took this fortification from the Loyalists. Even the Clares understand this. They let him be here. Understanding was a curiosity. Or was a courtesy. But why such a courtesy? Because you did their dirty work for them, didn't you? You helped them get to power by removing people they didn't like. Did you kill the Crenel mercenary for the Clares to incite a riot? You know why I killed that fucker. As to Edgar, I'm not doing anything for that swine again. Again? What have you done for Edgar before? Tried teaching him some Mazovian socioeconomics. They didn't stick. We parted ways. Okay, he didn't do the hanged man for them, but he's insinuating something. Got 97% chance because we know he shot the statue and he talked to Everett, and we have a very high logic score. What was the deal between him and Edgar? We needed a 14, we got a 29. We just totally killed it. The connection comes to you like a splash of cold water, dark cold water. 20 years ago when you met Edgar, the Clares didn't run the Union yet, did they? Heh. He acknowledges it. Here we go, a twist from the dark bend. Who did? That bourgeois cow. Tiffier and Holly was her name. Licked the rich man's hand every time he came to town. Never seen a labor leader so hot on mutual cooperation and money. She liked that too. That Holly was a real bridge builder and a deal maker. His eyes glistened suddenly with hatred. She was also a woman, wasn't she? Like that Klasha. She was, and she was real soft on those money men. Had a Barbara Muskova bag over her shoulder that she liked to bring to work. And then she just disappeared. Called in, they say, on the eve of battle. Ran away. Vanished like a piss stain. That's not quite it, is it? Did she? They say her daughter called in. Not her personally. That wasn't really her daughter, was it? No, I guess it was not. You could swear you see the embers glow again under his eyes in the dust. Edgar, had someone made the call? Edgar had someone make the call. Why is that, Mr. Dross? She couldn't make the call herself. Here it is, the bend in the river. Why couldn't she make the call? Because she was dead. How come, sir? Because the cow caught a bullet in her right lung, fell into the canal, grasping her tit, and drowned. Or bled. Hard to say. It was a sloppy job, on a moving target. She was going home, waddling, dressed in yellow, drunk like she often was. The ruins were black under her, and she had a yellow leather bag under her arm. She tried to cross the canal, heading home to the Grand Couronne or Betancourt, someplace like that, where they build those new bediments for the people who flourish in the hell around her and the ruins. You killed her. You shot her. It was you. You shot her, didn't you? Someone shot her. Or maybe the cow just fell. Her memory's full of holes. My memory's full of holes. All I know is nothing's changed. Not in the material base. Not in the hegemony. There was no uprising. Just words. The Union fizzled, sogged. Nothing came of it. Nothing. Edgar didn't keep his part of the deal. Heh. If you were to testify to this, give the RCM something on Edgar, you could walk, the lieutenant says in a voice even calmer, as if it was nothing at all. We could strike everything you've done and process you as a POW. You were in a war. You were on assignment. We could even extradite you to the Samaran People's Republic. A degenerate worker state? Goat shit? No thank you. I'm Revacholian. My days are short. I will have to rot away here, in a moral intern cell. I will not testify to anything. But you did do it. Okay then, that's that. But I know. Yeah, I know you did it. All you know is I saw it happen and I liked it. I liked it a lot. Her plump body bobbing up and down that canal like a cork. That chic yellow bag still on her, or chick yellow. The chick yellow bag still on her, strangling her. Cold black coals look at the canal, then at you, and blink. By the cock parading in his colorful uniform, you mean Renee? Every fucking morning, for 34 years, throwing that ball, one ball against the other. I've always loathed that game. That's not a working class game. I don't care what they say on radio, June. Royalist ghouls play it like it was life itself. Click clack, he makes the sound of balls connecting across the water each day. And that uniform, like a parrot's plumage. I wouldn't even mention that he's a traitor to his race. A Patonk maniac race traitor. Just nod. Now I don't know about. Whoa, let's back off before you get too agitated. Let's let him continue. I remember him. I remember him from La Noche. Not him personally, his make and model. There were tens of thousands of him. I thought we took them all out before the liberals came to their rescue. We missed one. With his shaky finger, he points to the city, towards the crater near the plaza where a lonely pine tree stands. That one. There doesn't seem to be a single person under that pine today. Not even Gaston. Alone. There's no one there. Fat and plump like a pheasant. Just begging to be popped off. Please, Mr. Dross, shoot me. You'd like to kill him? Not yet. I like to look at him strut around, place the crosshair on his medals, right in his face, and just fiddle the trigger. Think about it. Let the bonbon melt in my mouth. Save the treat for later? He is a juicy bonbon, that one. A real treat. For the black day, the blackest, when I put the gun in my own mouth. I think, no, don't waste it. Put this lead on that cock Rene. For the boys he killed. And then I look at him, throw those balls, and suddenly I feel better. I even hid one bullet so I'd always have one for him. Haven't seen him around lately, sputtering around or strutting around. Must be down with arthritis. I hope it hurts like hell. I hope he sweats blood. Renee is dead. He died of old age. Bad arthritis. Yes, he's not playing this week. No, he's dead. He died and you didn't have the chance to take him out. No. Yes. The old communist looks at you, his blackberry eyes shaking in disbelief. I waited too long. I waited too long and now he's dead. I'm sorry, Mr. Dross. I understand you knew him for a long time. They're all dead now. Fuck it. If he really wanted to kill him so bad, he could have done it. There must have been 1,000 black days on these islands. His health ailing. You had 1,000 chances to kill him. You cared about him? I'm sorry. You cared about him? A little flash of anger. All human beings care about each other. I cared for seeing his head explode, and now, goddamn this world, you had 1,000 chances to kill him, and I blew them all. What does it matter now? He's gone. Ancient dust. I'm sorry. Fuck you. Are you okay, Mr. Dross? To go on? You think I haven't seen people die? It's all I've seen them do. Fucking die. All of the other plans we had to love, to colonize the Pale, it's all fucked. It doesn't look like he is okay. I'm glad we talked about this now, but we could arrest him. I want to try to get my composure up to assess his body language. Can you just stay here for now, mister? I ain't going anywhere. So let's change out our clothes. What do we have that's composure? Anything? I thought we bought one thing that was composure. At least. Oh, the anorak. What does that cover? That probably takes over our jacket, our empathy jacket. If I had to guess. Yep. Or we could do the windbreakers, but that's okay. Anything else that gives me composure? Minus composure, plus composure for the boots. So I could take off my perception and put on the green snakeskin boots. Is that it? Alright, what does that look like now? It's 58% chance. There's a white check so we can redo it. Let's assess his body language. Big failure. For a 60-year-old man with a stomach trouble who spent his entire life alone as an uninhabited island, he seems surprisingly fit. That's it? He's clearly a drug user of the painkiller sort, prone to erratic hand gestures and malnourished, but that's it. The moment passes, and you say, I'm not. I'm gonna increase my composure. Composure, composure, composure. Where are you? Here. Level up. Failure again, okay. There we go. What strikes you about this gaunt man is not the stomach pain or the cough or the malnutrition. It's precisely what you could not see before. For a man who spent 44 years hidden in the urban wild, he's surprisingly okay. Indeed, he speaks fluidly. His movements are rapid, if erratic. His voice, despite the cough, is there. It is capable of expressing complicated ideas. Above all, he seems animated. Animated by what? It's a mystery. This animation comes at a cost, too. Erratic hand gestures. Thought processes cut off like threads. As he just stares through the logs of the reeds, he also suffers mood swings, bubbling to the surface, unconstrained by his nervous system. He has dementia? You've seen demented people before. This feels similar, yet different. When his thoughts move, they are lucid, keen even, not senile. Mr. Dross, are you okay? How's your memory? He waves his hand, chasing something that's not there. No, I'm not okay. I shit blood, and I'm surrounded by insane people. There it is again. Erratic hand motions. Bouts of rage. And the stomach thing, too, of course. Yosef Lilyanovich Dross, you're under arrest for the murder of Elis Courtinaire. What? The old man's eyes fill suddenly with sudden unexpected terror at the words. But you said I would be taken to the... The wind picks up. The silence of the water is broken all around you. Little shivers of waves appear. The lieutenant continues like an incantation. Your wayfarer rights have been suspended. Information provided to the officers on the scene will be used against you by the prosecution. You'll be given legal counsel within 1 week and must face court in 44 days. Do you understand? Do you understand? But, do you understand, sir? No, I don't want to. I have to stay here. He looks at the reeds, eyes submerged in glowing terror. He's sweating. Beads are forming on his forehead. Your confirmation is not required, sir. Now onto the boat. First aid, does it have room for 3? No, wait. Wait, what do we hear? There's something... There it is again, to your north. As it has been since you came to the coast, the reeds whisper, stalks rubbing against each other. But then, in the middle of it, what? Something completely different. It sounds like a bow very slowly being drawn against the strings of a violin. A very small violin made of reeds and rushes. And then it's gone, drowned out by the lieutenant's voice. Maybe there's room for 3 on the boat. Shush, Kim. Did you hear that? What? What are you talking about? Is this... The old man's voice drowns in a sudden gust of wind. Really? Us? Your skin crawls. Oh god, what's happening? What is that? What's happening? What's happening in the reeds? Is that the Insolidian Phasmid? Holy crap. Holy crap, it's real. A delicate tangle of arms and legs unfold from the reeds, limb by limb, and then just stand there, moving its scythe-like arms in golden and ghostly silence. Let's not scare it off. Let's not make loud sounds. Blink. It's still there, an unfolding mechanism of reed-like chitin hovering in place. What is that? The old man looks at the reeds, then at you. What are you talking about? Oh god. The giant stick insect? He looks confused. There's nothing there. The stink insect is over 3 meters tall. It looks straight at you with its tiny pinprick eyes and grotesquely small head. You feel your legs shaking under you and your gun hand moves to your holster to grab the gun. I don't have any bullets. There is. I see it. Or I've finally gone insane. No, it's there. Tell me, what do you see, damn it? I can't make out one small thing in the reeds. Kim, can you see it? I can see it. 4 simple words, thank God. If he can see it, then you're not insane. But that means it's really there, spinning slowly in absolute silence. Its limbs long and slender. Be very careful. The lieutenant whispers, then takes a step towards the giant arthropod. Okay, hello? Sir? Ma'am? The creature stands on long, stilt-like legs, antennae hanging from its head like a woman's hair, white and curled at the tips. It's no more than 5 steps away from you. Reed-like tufts stick out of its joints. As the insect moves its forearms, it produces a faint hiss, like a reel-to-reel machine spinning after the tape breaks. It's a red check. It says something in a lower pitch. The hiss is different from the strings you heard before. It says something else in a lower pitch. Listen carefully. It's the Insolidian Phasmid. It is. The lieutenant whispers behind you. You hear the familiar ring of his jacket unzipping slowly, painstakingly slow. You glance over your shoulder. The man holds a piece of milled aluminum. He begins to pull it out, open it extremely carefully. It's the camera. No, the flash will scare the creature off. Warn him now. Kim, the flash is loud. It won't like that. We need a photo. No one will believe us. From the corner of your eye, you see a sudden cascade of motion ripple through the Phasmid's limbs. A series of ultrasonic clicks fill your ear. Stop. Let me approach it first.
I won't be one of those fools who didn't take a picture.
You don't want to be one of those fools. I got you. You see the Phasmid turn to him, its mandible antenna reaching out. the motions quickly, suddenly. Who cares what they think, Kim? I have the pheromone. I can approach it.
I don't think the pheromone will do anything.
His whispers turned to a skeptical hiss, but he stopped now. Say something to it quietly. Something like, well, we can approach. Can I retreat slowly? If I retreat slowly, I'm afraid it'll leave. So do I just take the 83% chance? I could increase my electrochemistry, but it's a red check. I'm going to go for it. Yes. The spindle mechanism turns itself back to you. Its antenna taking their measure of the air. Slowly, you hold your breath. With your breath head, you take 2 small steps towards the creature. The creature lets out a series of ultrasonic clicks that swarm around your head like swallows. Hissing and clicking, it extends its mandible-like antenna to greet you. You're right below it now, looking up at the colossal chitin of its white limbs. The head of the creature is crowned in reeds, and its eyes are like small droplets of water. Raise your hand slowly. Hello, I'm Harry. I don't really know who I am. No reply. A total ancient silence comes from its mouth, along with what appears to be some kind of foam. The stridulations of its limbs continue all around you. Stand on your tiptoes and look more closely. You were right. Little bubbles form in the mouth parts of the creature on its segmented lower lip. It looks to be foaming slowly. The foam is white, then yellowish. The faintest smell like you've never felt before. Like burnt roses. Kim, it's foaming. Careful, it may be poisonous. The foam slowly turns to a darker shade like burnt caramel as the insect moves its mouth parts, masticating. The little bubbles begin to burst one by one, letting out that same smell, like summer burning. Alright, we got something. Let's raise our hand slowly. The insect stops its stridulation, seeming to observe you. Below its crown of reeds, little pinprick eyes detect motion, glittering. The world stands still around you. Suddenly there is silence. Raise your other hand, or put your hand down. No, let's raise both hands. As you do, the invertebrate comes to life, its limbs moving independently of each other, as if each has a mind of its own. There are white little stalks of porcelain knitting above you, praying to you. That's right, pray. Or, don't pray to me, I'm nothing. The reed creature does not stop its stridulations. It towers above you, parting the reeds it has emerged from. Tuft-like structures still rustle its joints. Tell me, what are you doing, creature? I exist. Okay, we're talking to the thing now. I exist too. I am a detective. Is this a dream? What is happening? What exactly are you? I have to say goodbye now. I have no more thoughts. That was all. I exist too. Tell me, what is it like for you? Fire and burning. It's wunderbar. I am ill. If I tell you, what will happen? No, I'm ill. What is your illness? My body aches. I'm bleeding. I'm ill in my head. I'm insane. That's how it is for me. In my heart, for me it's sadness. Input after input. I mean, yes, that one. I think it's all is because of sadness. We are physically injured, but we can heal that. For me, it is not like that. I have states, not emotions. For example, I experience excitement at unexpected sugar rewards, but that is not important. Now I will tell you how it is for me. For me, it is a series of half-lit images, a kind of darkness being intruded upon, transient, dim, and moist. Intruded upon by what? Shapes of plants and animals, and internal sensations. A swarm of sounds, tiny vibrations on the inside of my forearms, all speak of complexities totally beyond my understanding. I am at the end of a narrow funnel, weightless, so light it only feels like something to be me. In truth, perhaps I'm nothing. I certainly do not have a soul, and if I did, it would never ache. You're the type of animal I would like to be. I'm glad to be me, an incredibly sensitive instrument. What the fuck is happening to me right now? I mean, that kind of sucks. I mean, that you just going through actions and that you don't really understand anything. and you just feel like your existence is something and you don't have a real feeling. Kind of sucks. I'm glad to be me. Few of us can begin to imagine the horror of you, with all of creation reflected in your forebrain. It must be like the highest of hells, a kaleidoscope of fire and writhing glass, eternal damnation. Even when you're sleeping, and when you wake, you carry it all around on your neck, with eyes open that cannot help but swallow more behind that mirror. I feel great, mute empathy for you. It's hell. I changed my mind. I want to be you. It was very disorienting at first, but I'm keeping my shit together. That must be incredibly hard. The anthropods are in silent and meaningless awe of you. Know that we are watching. When you're tired, when the vision spins out of control, the insects will be looking on, rooting for you. And when you fall, we will come to raise you up, bud from you, banner-like, blossom from you, and carry you apart in a sky funeral, in honor of your passing. But not me, because I am just a leaf eater. Okay, I gotcha. I'm a detective. So am I. I was born to detect sucrose rewards and semiochemicals. What were you born to detect? Also that. The killer. I was born to detect you. I was born to detect a killer. Or maybe I was born to detect you. Yes. No one detected me for such a long, long time. For thousands of years I dithered out of sight, draped myself in greenery. This is my masterpiece. Or no, this is just an accident. No, this is my masterpiece. No one believed I existed, almost no one, until you came, detective, dripping of blood that smells like strawberries, across the calm sea, the first in 1,000 years. Is this a dream? What is happening? No, you are awake. I am real. Light is forming me. This is real. Light is forming you? Where does this come from? All of this, around us, this whole world. Not even the birds know that. Not even the water lilies. We need to know. Perhaps it's sent to us by God. Then all we can do is beat our fist against it day after day with no answer? I mean, what? We need to know the answer. I think we should eat it. If it's a leaf you can put in your mouth or a reed, yum yum. Wait, so you look like a reed and you eat reeds? Yes, they don't mind. Have you accidentally eaten another reed phasmid? Yes. I once cloned myself and I ate the little ones. It was winter, and I woke up at the wrong time. It was an accident. Sorry to hear that, dude. What exactly are you? I'm an unknown species of the order Phantasmodea, endemic to the Insulating Insula. For the last 350 years I have hidden in plain sight, masquerading as the reeds, molding, cloning myself, unfolding at night to play with trash bins and buoys. I went unnoticed by the first settlers and the land surveyors of the suzerain, also by the occupiers, or by the soldiers of the revolution and the officials of the occupation. Even the Seminese islanders who came here first, but did not stay, have not seen me. I have stayed hidden throughout 4 forms of government and 2 scientific revolutions, until I was accidentally discovered by a detective of the Citizens Militia in Revachol, District of Martinez, in March 51. That's insane. No, you are. The moral of our encounter is I am a relatively medium life form, while it is you who are total extreme madness, a volatile simian nervous system, ominously new to the planet. Is that a word? Ominously? There we go. That's the word I'm looking for. Ominously new to the planet. I can read English. I know words. The Pale 2 came with you. No one remembers it before you. The Synodarians do not. The radially symmetrics do not. I don't know who the Synodarians are. The radially symmetrics would be like starfish. They have radial symmetry. The Pale 2 came with you. No one remembers it before you. So humans brought this weirdness in the world? There's an almost unanimous agreement before the birds and the plants that you are going to destroy us all. Wait, what is the Pale? It is a nervous shadow cast onto the world by you, eating away at reality, a great unnatural territory. Its advent coincides with the arrival of the human mind. Which the human mind is destroying the universe with some weird entity? I don't have that kind of power. You are a violent and irrepressible miracle. The vacuum of cosmos and the stars burning in it are afraid of you. Given enough time, you would wipe us all out and replace us with nothing. Just by accident. How? We suspect it will be something like the oxygen holocaust that wiped out anaerobic life 2.6 billion years ago, when organisms first started breathing, only much worse. Instead of air, you exhale thoughts. There are no trees that eat thoughts. How? Worse how? Everything your eyes touch goes back there, behind the nerve mirror. What if you blink? Are we still here? Please don't blink. What if you misplace us all one day, or just forget? I could blink. Have I always thought this way? But I want to blink and undo 12 billion years of matter expansion. I've already forgotten the whole world once, when I drank too much. I'll be extra careful not to blink, stick insect, don't worry. Have I always thought this way? No, let's start with, I've already forgotten the whole world once. So it is already happening. Soon, one of you will close your eyes and open them to see that none of this ever existed. Kim, am I having a violent epileptic seizure? It doesn't look like that, no. What does it look like then? You're just staring at it. Then I think I'm having a vision about the final fate of mankind. Okay, is it somehow related to the case? Sort of. No, I told you what it's about, our fate. This case? This case is meaningless compared to this. I've totally transcended the case. It's not meaningless. It's maybe less meaningful. No, I told you what it's about. It's about our fate. I think we should take the picture, and then you should back away from the unstudied species. I have to say goodbye now. I have no more thoughts. That was all. No, there is one more. No, there are no more thoughts. Of all the creatures I've met, you are the kindest. Of all the creatures I have met, you are the scariest. Of all the creatures I have met, you are the most beautiful. I don't know what kind of creatures I've met. I don't know if they've been very kind creatures or not. So, you are the most beautiful creature I've ever met, weird stick insect. Thank you. I also have one more thing to say to you before you go. That woman. Turn from the ruin. Turn and go forward for all mankind. Oh, you're saying to give up on the thoughts of our ex-wife. You want us to give up on her and the sadness and just go on with our life. I can't. I will try. I will. I will try, Phasmid. Or what woman? We know what woman. I will try, Phasmid. She was hell on earth. It doesn't take a 3-meter stick insect to tell you that. Okay, Kim. Take the picture. Okay. With a slow ring of metal, the lieutenant slides the lens open and raises it to eye level. There is no change in the insect's motion while it's being aimed by the camera. It remains fixated on you. In 3, if it moves, you jump back. I'll shoot. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. The shrill flash of the camera cuts the air like the blade of a sword. The Phasmid freezes in its blue light, head turned towards the lieutenant. Hypnotized by the flash, it stands frozen before you. The sweat on your arms feels cold as ice, as if you're frozen as well in the shadow of this giant statue of chitinous marble. I got it, your lieutenant whispers as the creature's shape develops onto photo paper in his hand. A polychrome ghost of white streaking against the reeds in the sky, and you as a shadow before it. Slowly reach out and touch the creature's whisker. Carefully pet its scythe-like forearm. No, can we touch the whisker? The antennae hang from a great height. With your hand shaking, you barely touch the tip of the left whisker. On contact, the chitin curls into a spiral, like a tip of poison ivy. Its touch on your fingertips feels cold and ticklish. It is surprisingly delicate. The curly end of the whisker, like a young vine? Bina? It's even a bit wet. Be careful, detective. It's moving. Look at your finger. You were right. It glistens with some kind of moisture. The creature in front of you stays frozen. Lick your finger. Let's not lick our finger. Carefully pet its scythe-like forearm. The limb before you is incredibly light, like eggshell. It's much lighter than a reed. You feel a soft push feel a soft push could tip the creature over, its hollow exoskeleton collapsing. Warning, run your hand up the slender limb. Let's pull... No, let's not crush it. Let's just pull our hand away. A sudden shiver passes the limb. Looks like the creature is awakening, wave by wave from its stupor. Some sort of countdown process is happening. That's all you have time to think. Okay, let's lick our finger. It tastes like sugar, very faint. The arthropod, or anthropod, I'm going to keep saying arthropod. Anthropod towers above you, tufts of reed pointing from limb and head alike. Odorless, mostly comprised of water. And let's just step back. Another shudder pulses through the creature's limbs. It jolts back to life, like a record continuing where it left off, in a swaying, praying motion. Even the small black pearls of his eyes do not stray from you. Disengage slowly. As you're turning away, the phasmid mirrors your movements, stepping into the water. The long limbs carry its feather weight without breaking the surface. Well, and then it's gone. Well, that was a thing. And just like that, it's gone, skating away across the sea's calm mirror like a skipping stone, leaving nothing but circles on the water. And something under it, in the place where it stood, bobbing there among the reeds, a collection of items. It's gone. The lieutenant looks north with his hand raised to his brow. It can walk on water? Apparently yes, like a water strider, only I've never seen anything like that in my life. What's that in the reeds? Looks like a nest of some sort. We should have a look. What now? What now? The old man behind you repeats suddenly. He puts his hand into the ash. It's dirty and black. Our suspect's not looking so good. We need to check on him. Okay, I was gonna say let's leave the checking the crate until next time, but that's just a cliffhanger we don't need to end on. We already have the cliffhanger of this guy. Let's check the crate. Hey, we found the helmet and a scope. Found the scope and a helmet. Common 30mm sniper scope attachable to almost any bolt action 4.46 caliber. Used an older style non-dotted rangefinder reticle. Seaweed is still stuck on the lens, and it suffered water damage from its time in the Phasmid's dowry. And the helmet? What does the helmet do again? Monstrous-looking bug-eyed ceramic helmet was in the Phasmid's nest. It still has some reeds sticking out of it, and it smells of seawater, but it's otherwise wearable. If not exactly comfortable, putting it on feels scary somehow. Okay, well, this has been probably the longest episode yet, and I fear that the next episode will be very short because there's probably not much left to the game. But I'm going to end it here rather than have like a 2-hour plus long episode. But, wow, some things happened this time. Just wow. Okay, but thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you again next time.